Howdy, I'm Nate Large, and in this video I'm going to show you how I'm going to hang my air filtration unit from the ceiling of my garage workshop. And we're going to use these two 2x4s. I cut the 2x4s to 5 foot 6 inches, and I did this so that way I can attach 5 lag bolts, because this is going to be spanning 5 joists. 1 lag bolt for each joist. I painted it white so it matches the ceiling. It's easier to do it before you put the hardware in my opinion. And I have drilled the first hole, the center one. I've also put on these eye bolts, which I'll be hanging the chains from in order to get the air filtration unit up there and mounted. I've used a Forstner bit in order to cut out a hole here in order to mount it with a nut and a washer. You can also use a lag bolt style eye bolt, so you don't have to use a washer and nut on this side if you don't want to. You just go right into a pre-drilled hole that'll hold it on with those threads. I've spaced these eye bolts out so that way they match the spacing on the air filtration unit, which for this JET model, it turns out to be 20 inches and a half inch. So that's what they're spaced at, so it'll hang directly underneath it. I have now mounted the two 2x4 supports with a single lag bolt, the center one, on a single joist. I did mark out before mounting these the other 4 joists, 1, 2, 3, 4, by finding their drywall screw locations and drawing a line across the ceiling. I've made sure that the distance between these eye bolts and these eye bolts is the same and correct. So these are now parallel supports. So I've torqued down these center joists so these will not move. And I will go ahead and start drilling through the support and into the drywall. My drill bit is not long enough to go all the way through to the required depth for my long 4.5 inch lag bolt. So I will, after I go ahead and pre-drill through the support and into the drywall, I'll have on the drywall the mark which I need to go to full depth with my drill bit into the joist. So I'll pre-drill a number of these, if not all of them, tilt it to the side, drill the rest of the way, and throw the lag bolts in after that.
Now to hoist and mount the air filtration unit. To do this, I'm going to use 8 shackles, 4 S-hooks, and 4 lengths of chain. If you have some bolt cutters, you can shorten those chains after it's hoisted. I'm going to attach a length of chain to each of the eye bolts using a single shackle. The S-hooks will be used to attach the air filtration unit to the chain at the height it's at. These S-hooks will be travelers. They will help you creep the air filtration unit up the chain all the way to the ceiling. This is about a 10-foot ceiling, and it took me 30 minutes to do. That was a lot of back and forth, doing about 4 or 5 links at a time. When the unit got all the way to the top, I did shorten the chain and attached the last shackle to the bottom of the chain, so that way the S-hooks don't need to be used anymore, as they're not secure.
The biggest question I get about air filtration units is, where should I place it in my workshop? Now, this is an air filtration unit. It's mainly there to collect the tiny airborne particles that would be hazardous to your lungs if you were to breathe in. These tiny particles can stay airborne for a long time. The stuff that you see that falls to the floor fairly quickly is not the stuff that we are concerned with in the air. With that being said, we want to be able to move air around the workshop efficiently to cycle it in order to clean it. So a place like the ceiling and the center of the workshop has the ability to blow air everywhere with less obstacles than the floor. So I believe in the center of the workshop is the best place for the air filtration unit. Now, some people might be thinking, well, why don't I put my air filtration unit right next to the source of the dust creation? Kind of like a downdraft table. Well, it's not a dust collector, so you're going to end up clogging your filter really fast if you use it like that. So I would recommend getting a shop vac or a dust collector for the source dust collection, and that would be really good at minimizing the airborne particles as well.